It's time to talk about female refs. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to make this video, but I can't not. I am tired of scrolling through Twitter, which I know is a cesspool, and seeing comments towards women officials, not for the calls they've made, but for the calls they've made as a woman. Someone without a penis is making a decision for someone with a penis. Because it's never, this ref got it wrong. It's always, this woman ref got it wrong. So let's take a look at the calls in question from last night's Indiana Pacers versus Cleveland Cavaliers game. This was actually the account that brought all of this to my attention. It is not this specific tweet. We will look at the more specific tweet that he tweeted out about this woman again in a second. But this is the first one that he tweeted. And he says, before we watch the video, and I think the context of how he frames it is important. I'm assuming it's a he. If it's a woman, it's not a woman. This is a man. This is definitely a man. Reason 1000 why the NBA viewership is down. Not sexist at all. Okay, let's stop there. Timeout, technical foul, whatever you want to call it. Never in my life have I started a sentence by saying, not sexist at all, and then say something that is very blatantly sexist. Clarifying that you are about to make a statement that is not sexist tells me you are going to make a bigoted statement, not sexist at all. But these women refs, time and time again, continue to make so many mistakes. If we want to talk about mistakes, time and time again implies the continue. Other people make mistakes too. Even yourself cook the books, all right? You don't need to say time and time again and also say continue. Plenty of WNBA game for them to ref.
Bruh.
Somebody had to say it, and I'm ready to take all the hate from sensitive people. Okay, this is classic bigotry, but it's also classic gaslighting, as if you are critical of this, if you are hateful of what he is saying, you are sensitive. And if you want to label me sensitive for my opinions, that's fine. And we haven't even looked at the clip. And I'm not worried about the clip right now, because I don't have to watch the clip to know that this is indeed a sexist premise. This opinion is built on sexism. He is implying that one of the reasons, we'll start at the top, one of the reasons why NBA viewership is down is because there are women reffing the game. Huh? I have never in my life heard, hey, you gonna watch the game tonight? Nah, woman ref. There's a woman ref in the game, so I'm not interested in watching the basketball game because there's a woman ref that's going to be running up and down the court making the calls. You sound dumb. Now the next part, they keep making so many mistakes. I don't know if this is the first experience with sports that Cook the Books has had. Refs make mistakes. The system is far from perfect, and it has been far from perfect since the inception of referees. The sentiment here is that women are making more mistakes. Otherwise, the fact that she's a woman versus a man doesn't matter. If you want to talk about the NBA viewership being down because the refs, period, are bad, I have no problem with that. But singling out the women is ridiculous, especially when you say they're making mistakes, which we'll talk about on the next clip when she made the correct call and people are insulting her for it. So you don't want women to make mistakes, but you also don't want them to make the correct call. Got it. Plenty of WNBA game to ref is the third point that he makes, and men should not be gynecologists. Men should not be lactation consultants. In fact, men should never provide a medical service to a woman because they may not understand women in that way. They don't have the same body. They don't have the same, emotional. You sound dumb! Saying that women should only ref women's sports is inherently sexist. And that doesn't even scratch the surface of the economic impact of this, because I guarantee she is making a lot more money reffing the NBA than she would if she ref the WNBA. Let's watch the clip. Okay, she's explaining what happened. Here's the replay. Jared Allen comes up. Andrew Nembard gives him an elbow. It's a blatant flop. Okay, she calls the technical foul. So here's the deal. If you want to have a conversation about the game of basketball, Here is my conversation. Regardless of the call made on the court, regardless of the private parts that the referee has, I would say this. If we need to institute a rule in the NBA that every technical foul is reviewed on the monitor and a consensus is come to by a group of people who are sitting there whose dedicated job is to review technical fouls when they're called, fine. Because is this a technical foul? Probably not. But from her angle, which she can't see incredibly well because the elbow is on the opposite side of Andrew Nembard's body, an elbow is hit. Now, could you argue that Andrew Nembard elbowed Jared Allen? He maybe see him coming, he puts that elbow back, but he has a right to this space. This is not a blatant elbow. This is not a technical foul. I agree with Cook the Books on the fact that this is not a technical, in that it was a mistake. If you want me to agree with this guy, I agree with him. But am I going to sit here and bring the fact that a woman made the decision into it? No, because it's irrelevant. The issue is that while this was a mistake, he has taken exception to this mistake due to the fact that she is a woman. If he would have just said, this is the wrong call, this was not a technical, I have no issue with this. Let's look at the second piece. The second part of this deals with Bennedict Mathurin and a dunk that you have probably seen. This was tweeted by Cook the Books 6 minutes later at 8:05. The other one was at 7:59. I also would like to add a side note here that Cook the Books must have had some action on the Indiana Pacers in some way, shape, or form, because the anger, this is a betting account, by the way, the anger that he feels towards this woman is unmatched. I mean, look at his caption. All right? This is inherently sexist. I don't know how he can argue that he is not being sexist with verbiage like this. You do not want her to ref the NBA because she is a woman. That's weird. So let's take a look at this play. Let's talk about what happened. 23 seconds. Bennedict Mathurin comes on the fast break. He dunks. He pulls himself up, and he gets a technical foul. Let's watch that again. He dunks, he pulls himself up, and she immediately tees him up. He throws a fit. She says pulling up on the rim. He argues a little bit. These guys are upset. Rick Carlisle doesn't seem to mind because he never does. She goes probably and explains him. She's saying what she does. Your head comes above the rim, and that's the end of it. Now, real quick, let's take a look at two other clips. This clip is from last year, and it involves LeBron James. So don't come to me telling me that the call was wrong here, because LeBron goes up for a dunk. He hangs, he pulls up in the same fashion that Bennedict Mathurin does, and he gets a technical foul. LeBron James, the guy that is most unlikely to get a technical foul in the NBA, got a technical foul. Here is another clip from last year. This is going to be Jason Tatum, another very popular player in the NBA. Oh, look, that's a dude. Oh, look, that's a dude. Oh, look, that guy has a Johnson. These are all dudes reffing this game. And what happens? Jason Tatum dunks, and he doesn't even pull up. He just hangs. And you maybe can make the argument that he's waiting for Banchero or whoever that is to get out of the way. He doesn't even pull his head above the rim, and he gets teed up. Did you guys see what Bennedict Mathurin did last night? He dunked the ball. Nobody's in the way. He pulls himself up. He gets teed up. So the issue that I have, besides this, the issue that I have is that 6 minutes ago, Cook the Books, and I'm targeting Cook the Books here, but this sentiment is widespread. He is not the only one, considering the fact that this has 4,000 retweets, 58,000 likes. He is not the only one who has a sexist view of these women refs in the NBA. So 6 minutes prior to this tweet, he is upset that a woman ref, or consistently the women refs, are making mistakes. She is presented with an opportunity to make a call based on the rules that I will put on the screen right now. She makes the correct call by the book, by her training, by the NBA in the past, and she's criticized. This is why what you said at the beginning on your last tweet is sexist, because there's no consistency in the argument. You are just mad that a woman has power over these men. Period. I told you there were 3 videos. This is the 3rd. It is from the exact same game. So first of all, I'm going to pause it right here because Bennedict Mathurin is getting all arm. He is not hitting the ball. And you could even argue that his other hand may be around the face or shoulder of, I guess it comes through, of Evan Mobley. All right. So blatant foul, obvious foul. And she calls a standard foul. Okay. Shooting foul. Not a technical foul, just a foul. All right? Yeah, I don't know. As she should, based on our previous conversation about them making mistakes, she made the correct call. What? Okay? Foul every time. Bennedict Mathurin is upset, and he comes over to her. And he starts clapping behind her. Here is where I'm going to add a little bit of a caveat or a little bit of a, I'm on the side of sexism. I'm not, but hear what I'm saying with some nuance. There are a lot of people who will see this and will say, how dare he talk to a woman like that? How dare he treat her like that? And I even say, let's knock that off. If that's the way he talks to male refs, he can talk to her like that, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't believe in a double standard that he has to treat a woman with more respect because she's a woman. I don't buy that. If that's how he's going to talk to a male ref after a foul call, he has full right to talk to her like that. I don't agree with him clapping behind her, just as I wouldn't agree with him clapping behind a male ref. You're about to see that he bumps into her, makes contact with her, which is a technical every time. Making contact with an official in every sport, maybe besides hockey, I don't know about hockey, I don't care about hockey, is a technical foul every time. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to get called every time, but it is a foul every time. So for the people who say, how dare he talk to her like that because she's a woman, I say knock that off. How dare he talk to anybody like that? So he claps in her face, which, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that to man or woman. He's screaming at her. He's clapping in her face. He bumps into her. All right. He blatantly bumps into her. Okay. It's not aggressive. It's not enough to knock her over, but it's contact with an official. And I will say this. I looked this up. Bennedict Mathurin approached her after the game, apologized after the game, asked for forgiveness after the game. Great. I don't care. Like, that's their business. I'm just saying that as a bystander, as someone who is watching sports, I'm sick of the woman ref conversations. I think we have to be better. And I realize that Twitter is probably a bad place to look for morality, for equality. If you disagree with me and have an argument for why women shouldn't ref men's sports, I'm probably going to disagree with you. And I'm going to disagree with you on the basis of what I've already presented. And that is, I want these athletes to treat the women in the same way. If they get in the face and yell at men referees, they're probably going to get teed up. I'm okay with them doing that to women. For people who sit back and say, well, women just can't handle the adrenaline, the aggression from these male athletes. That is just you projecting sexism onto them. If they didn't feel like they could handle it, they wouldn't do the job. They don't need you to sit back and tell them what they are and are not capable of. If you want to talk badly about refs, fine. If you want to talk badly about refs who happen to be women, fine. But if you want to bring up the fact that they are indeed a woman, in the same breath as you talking bad about them, you are sexist.